Okay, well, we will get started. Thank you for joining to the 7-day gratitude challenge. I'm really excited about this challenge because, as I think you guys all know, 2020 has been an interesting year. I feel like we use the word unprecedented all the time, but it really has been unprecedented with everything between COVID, the elections, if you're a parent dealing with remote schooling, changes in work. So it's probably been a year where we've had to experience the most change than really ever before. And with change in that uncertainty comes a lot of anxiety. And since we're home more and we're not connecting with others, it also causes a disconnection too. So for the next 7 days, so even though we've been through so much, we're going to really focus on what's good because we still have things to be grateful for. And if you guys are be able to sit here with each other this morning, then that's one thing that we have to be grateful for. So we're going to start a morning practice, which after these 7 days, I really hope that you will continue. And it's going to consist of meditation, gratitude, and prayer. And really, that's an opportunity just for us to remember all the good things that we have in our life, to start our day with ease and harmony, and to foster a connection with the divine. So it's really all of these three things that can help us just to feel a little bit more grounded, safe, and connected. So as the world continues to change and we don't have a lot of control over our external events, with this practice we can really start to cultivate a sense of inner peace. So even though we can't control everything that's going on outside of us, we can control how we respond to it, how we perceive things, and how we choose to act. And that's really what this practice is all about. So it's my hope that over the next 7 days, as we practice together, that we create this habit that we can continue to practice even after the 7 days is over. So very excited about that. So I'll just take a quick moment to introduce myself. So my name is Lisa, and I know a few of you, and a few of you guys are new to me, so it's nice to meet you. I am a mom. I have 2 children. I live in Massachusetts, right outside of Boston. I'm a writer and a teacher. So I was in the corporate world for a good portion of my adult life, but I left about a year and a half ago really to pursue my passions of spirituality, writing, and teaching. And I've been very happy ever since. I have a first book that will be published in April, and I also write essays on Medium. So that's a little bit about me. Yoga, spirituality, and meditation have always been a great part of my life and has been a really important factor, especially when things have gone maybe a little awry or I felt more stress. It's always been a great practice to come back to or to deepen. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys this week as well. And I do want you to think of this practice. So I think you guys are going to immediately start to feel a little bit more ease as we go through this. But think of it as like brushing your teeth, cleaning your house, or going to the gym. So these aren't things that we can just do once and we have this great sense of ease and harmony. They're really something that we have to make part of our everyday. So I think first thing in the morning is a great time to do that because it sets our day up with a sense of ease, intention, and awareness. I know when I don't have the opportunity to practice the first thing in the morning, my days just seem to be a little bit more harried, or I could be a little bit more reactive. So when we take this time to really connect to that inner wisdom, we give ourselves a chance to respond. And we respond with a little bit more thought and intention. So today I'll explain each of the practices and maybe talk about the benefits, but ultimately I want this week to be actually about practicing. So, we can talk a lot about the different benefits of it, but unless we actually do it, we're not going to reap the benefits. So I will probably talk a little bit more in this first practice as we go through everything, but tomorrow we'll probably jump into the meditation, the gratitude a little bit more, just right away. So to start, our mornings are going to go like this. We're going to start with about a 10-minute meditation, and we'll change the meditation from day to day, so that will give you an opportunity to learn different types of meditations. And then we'll go into gratitude. So we'll just take about 5 minutes to write in our journal on our own. But I think that there's a lot of energy when we do these practices together. And then we're going to go into a prayer, or maybe like a talk, a practice, a tip, But we'll end the session with a prayer as well too. And these prayers I'm going to offer you are from spiritual teachers, but I also encourage you to start thinking about writing or creating your own prayers. So with that, let's get started with a meditation. So today we're going to just start with an awareness of breath meditation, so you can sit up tall. Maybe just rest your hands in your lap. You can close your eyes here. You can just start to focus in on the breath. So just starting to notice the inhales and the exhales. In this type of meditation, our breath really acts as an anchor for our mind. So it's a place to put our focus. And the mind, of course, wants to think. That's what the mind does, and that's okay. So as thoughts come in and out of your consciousness, you can just return. You can notice that you're thinking, but don't get wrapped up in them. Don't fuse them with them. Don't engage with the storyline. You can just bring your focus right back to the breath. We can think of our mind like a clear blue sky. Each passing thought, or really anything that comes into our consciousness, are just like the clouds. And if we don't engage with them, they can just drift right on by. And really what we're trying to do is get more glimpses of the blue. If you find yourself getting wrapped up in a thought or an idea, that's okay. No judgment, just bring the focus back to the breath. And you call it back just like you were calling a puppy back. And kindly, non-judgmentally. Maybe you can even pick a part of the body where you feel the breath manifest. It could be the chest rising and falling. Or maybe you feel the air entering through your nostrils. And you can place your focus there. For this last minute or two, and just start again. So no matter where you were in your meditation, what was going on, just start fresh. Like it's the first moment you started your meditation. Just bringing the focus back to the breath. When you're ready, you can start to slowly open your eyes. You can start to maybe reorient yourself, looking around the room, rub the palms in your lap. So one way a consistent meditation practice helps us bring a little bit more ease into our lives is when we notice that we're thinking. We don't always have so much control over our thoughts, but we do have control over whether we engage with them or how we act on them. So we start to see our thoughts, but we don't fuse with them. So this is, especially helpful if you're feeling a little bit angry towards someone, that you don't have to react, you don't have to have the last word, you don't have to send the email, but you can take a step back, maybe you go for a walk, you choose to thoughtfully respond. So we can create that space with a consistent meditation practice between our triggers and reaction. And I think it's Viktor Frankl who had said, in between that space, that's where our freedom, that's where our opportunity for growth is. And that's why meditation is so important, and it does help us cultivate that ease because we're no longer dictated or driven by every passing thought or emotions, but we connect with that inner source, that higher wisdom that will help us choose how we want to respond. So as we start to transition into gratitude, I just did want to take a moment to explain the importance of gratitude. So as humans, we are born with a negativity bias. That means that we hold on to the bad stuff that happens a lot more than the good stuff. And the bad stuff tends to have more of an impact on how we feel and how we start to interact with others. Now, this is like a biological feature that was probably useful hundreds of years ago when we had to go out into the wild and hunt for our food. We'd want to remember threats and bad things that happened so we wouldn't repeat them. But that's a little bit less useful now. So in general, it doesn't really do us much good from a happiness perspective or even a productivity perspective to continue to lament and focus on the bad stuff. When we can take the time to focus on what's going well in our lives, we operate with a lot more ease, and our connections and interactions with others is also just a lot more agreeable. So luckily, science has now shown that with gratitude journals, so intentionally taking the time to focus on what's good in your life, we can literally rewire the neural pathways. So we're not lamenting about all the bad things that happen, but we can focus on the good. And it really does change our whole attitude and our whole interaction. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So if you have a journal, you can write down, we'll give you about 5 minutes to do this, 3 things that you're grateful for. But don't just write down what you're grateful for, write down why you're grateful for them. So rather than just say like, I'm grateful for my children, maybe you're grateful for your children because they remind you to stay in the present and, have fun, be lighthearted. So really explain why you're grateful for them and be as specific as possible. I'll take a couple of minutes to do that now.
Sorry, what are we journaling?
You're writing down 3 things that you're grateful for.
Okay. Just in general or today morning?
Try to make it as specific as possible. So, anything that you're grateful for today and why you're grateful for that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Just about another minute or 2, and then you guys can start to wrap up. You can take another moment. And again, you might notice that as you're writing down the things that you're grateful for, you actually immediately start to feel more of a sense of ease as you're reminded about the good things that are going well in your life. So next I wanted to transition into prayer. So prayer is our opportunity to connect with the divine. So it's really a conversation that we can have with our higher power. And for our higher power, I mean, that's whatever that is for you. So that could be God, goddess, nature, inner wisdom, higher self. So you can think about what that is, but it's really that connection. And through prayer, we get to let our higher power know that we're here, but we can also ask for guidance about how we should proceed or how we should act. So it gives us an opportunity to really source from that inner wisdom and go about our day. And it doesn't have to be formal, it's really a conversation. And you might find that the more you start to pray, the more that you start to have this conversation with your higher power throughout the day. So I also like to think about it is our words have meaning. So when we start to when we start to verbalize how we're feeling and verbalize asking for guidance, we start to receive the answers. So I think sometimes, when we're talking about to a little child, a small child, and they're getting very emotional and we say use your words. Prayer is kind of like that too, when we can start to use our words to ask for the guidance we need. Maybe it's to navigate a situation, maybe it's just to navigate our feelings, but we're putting our feelings and thoughts for our higher power to help to guide us. So that's what we're really going to be focusing on here. So this week I'm going to be reading some prayers from different spiritual teachers, but I also encourage you to maybe you write some of your own and make them your own, just depending on how you feel during the day or what guidance it is that you're requesting. And today I wanted to read Honoring Community by Pixie Lighthorse. And I think this is a great prayer just for as we start to move forward from the election and we start to unify and hail. This just reminds us kind of that we are in this together, that we are a community. So I will read it out loud to you guys. You guys can close your eyes, keep your eyes open, whatever feels best for you. Thank you for the ones who find their way to our sides, our brothers, sisters, tribes, and clans. Thank you for the willingness to take care of one another and value our contributions as a whole. Help us put the good of the whole before the good of the few. We need your support to expand as we take the next steps. Ease our fears and teach us to gather in a circle of equals. Remind us that a circle has no beginning and no end. Nature contains innumerable examples of the beauty of co-leading and the sacred geometry of many parts working as one. Manage our defenses. Diffuse our bombs. Humble us so we can tune into your divine frequency again and hear each other's joys and cries. Impart to us immense tolerance for the eccentricities in one another, knowing that we have them too. Strengthen our connections and bring us together like family. Remove our irrational fears of moving along the road together and allow us to look at all options for teaming up. Inspire in us the creativity required to dream outside of our insular boxes in singular family homes. Instead, may we meet up at the fireside to break some bread together and spread our beautiful ideas out on the table like a feast. Lean us into one another's shoulders when we need a little care. Fill us with unassailable hope that our collaborations will yield great harvest. Humble our pace with patience for one another. Slow our progress when we need to take a break to truly appreciate and understand the consequences. Clear our injuries so we can hear what's being presented today. Teach us to barter and trade for what we need. Show us new ways of conducting community and commerce that benefit our higher purpose and our fellowship. Remind us that not so long ago, our currency was simply trading our best work for someone else's to meet our needs. Burn up our excess ego and inspire our communications with thunderous compassion. Provide us with the strength of character needed to be good to each other. Let us default to great love in times of doubting ourselves and each other as we work together toward solutions. You can bring your hands to heart center. This is the universal mudra showing love, respect, devotion. Maybe close your eyes or gaze softly at your fingertips. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. So I really loved that prayer. I hope you guys enjoyed that as well too. So that will really be our practice for the next 6 days now. So we'll go into meditation, gratitude, and prayer. And each day will be a little different. Well, the gratitude won't be that different. We'll just write in our gratitude journal, but it'll be a different meditation and prayer. And I'll be uploading these sessions to Facebook and YouTube, which I will send you a link for. But I do encourage coming in person because, like I said, I do really feel that there's power when we collectively do these practices together. We kind of work together to raise the consciousness, raise the energy of the world. And tomorrow we'll be doing a loving kindness meditation. But if you have any questions, you can please ask them to me now, or you can send me an email, post in the group, whatever's most comfortable for you. I'll take this time.
I guess I had one question. Is there a good practice for writing gratitude? Because I mostly write in sentences. So, for example, mine was, I'm grateful for the weather. It's beautiful. Enjoying a cup of tea. And then I had something else. But is that a good way, or
yeah, no, that's perfect. Like writing them out in sentences as descriptive as possible. I mean, you might want to say like, I am thankful for the weather because it lets me take a long walk today, which I really needed. Or like, I'm thankful for my cup of tea because I love the taste and it gives me pleasure first thing in the morning. So yeah, so just as specific as you can get about it, because there are like, a cup of tea is something to be grateful for. I mean, I look forward to it every morning, but it's like when we don't take those things for granted, like there are a lot of nice things that we can still gain pleasure from and gain, just a little bit of peace and harmony. But that's perfect. So you can be as descriptive as possible, or however works for folks.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, thank you all. It was nice practicing together this morning, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.